I am Jennifer Igwe. A warm welcome to Newsline. Taking a life or opting for violence can never be right, no matter the case. The intentional use of physical force or power against a fellow human being can also result in strings of social and psychological effects, including deaths. On our lineup, we have two murder cases involving families. A father who allegedly used his son for money rituals, and another who killed his wife over 80,000 naira. Could they be cases of pure evil and uncontrolled rage? Stay tuned to find out. Then, talking about uncontrol, drug abuse can affect aspects of a person's life beyond their physical health with grave consequences. Yes, it is that dangerous. Stay on the line to find out why many in the southeast are worried and raising alarm over a drug referred to as crystal meth or mkpuru mmiri. Then our social diary is loaded with love stories and wedding bells. The ringing sounds of celebrations will also echo in achievements by individuals and honors by brands. We will highlight all of them, including an award of excellence received by an NTA reporter. With no further ado, let's join Claire Adelabu Abdurazak for the news. I'll be right back after the segment. Claire, nice to see you.
The feeling is mutual, Jenny, thank you. Helen, welcome to Abuja, and we begin from South Africa, where President Muhammadu Buhari is, and that's ahead of the second intra-African trade fair starting on Monday. Our State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president is there on the special invitation of the South African leader, Cyril Ramaphosa.
President Muhammadu Buhari flew into South Africa from France after a successful outing at the Paris Peace Forum and other engagements critical to the economic interests of Nigeria. On hand to receive him at King Shaka International Airport, Durban, were a high-powered South African government delegation, Nigeria's High Commissioner to South Africa, Ministers of Foreign Affairs, Industry, Trade and Investment, Director General, National Intelligence Agency, and other senior federal government officials. Building bridges for a successful African continental free trade area is the theme of the Intra-African Trade Fair, jointly organized by Afreximbank, African Union Commission, and the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat.
Well, it's very important for him to be here because, as you all know, Nigeria is the largest economy in the whole of Africa, and this is an intra-Africa thing. And without the presence of Nigeria's head of state, it would not be complete. And it is on that basis that the president of South Africa invited our president and asked specifically that he would like him to be present at the opening ceremony of the trade fair.
So what are we showcasing at the fair?
Well, we have, I believe, over 100 participants from Nigeria will be participating in the fair with various goods, even including our arts and culture, including our creative arts. We have our musicians will perform. There will be fashion parades and manufactured goods and all sorts of things like that. It is for us to advertise Nigeria to the rest of Africa, show Africa what we possess, show Africa what we can do, and show Africa why we are the leading economy in Africa.
The Intra-African Trade Fair, to be attended by several other heads of state and government, is expected to attract for the African continent trade and investment deals valued at $40 billion. From Durban, South Africa, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And let's now move to France. And after extending the COP26 climate negotiations by an extra day, 197 countries, including Nigeria, have agreed to an outcome document known as the Glasgow Climate Pact. which firms up the global agreement to accelerate action on climate this decade. Onongie Fineface reports for us.
It was a day of mixed emotions at the closing session of COP26 negotiations. It is not enough, many, like Nigeria, said. But the outcome document sufficed as a step in the right direction.
Nigeria would also like to join others to thank you and your team for the efforts to guide this COP to a reasonable conclusion, and we hope an equitable one.
Hearing no objections, it is so decided.
197 countries adopted the document known as the Glasgow Climate Pact, with compromise and hope that 1.5 degrees is within reach, but will survive if all promises are kept.
We have also, for the first time, adopted text to scale up clean power and phase down dirty coal.
And while hope will light our way forward, we will remain vigilant that promises pledged and our promises kept.
Countries finalized the rules of implementation for the Paris Agreement and more ambitious plans to reduce emissions next year at COP27 in Egypt.
I reaffirm my conviction that we must end fossil fuel subsidies, phase out coal, put a price on carbon, build resilience of vulnerable communities against the here and now impacts of climate change.
The Glasgow Climate Pact is also a catalyst to drive action on adaptation and press forward with commitments to urgently scale up finance. Onengie Fineface, NTA News.
Brilliant. Now let's take stories from home. And Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, has assured prospective investors into Nigeria's power sector of adequate government support. Anthony Forson reports that the minister notes that the federal government is desirous of developing the sector for sustainable economic growth and development.
This government is creating the enabling environment for investors to see their investment grow with return on investment.
With these soothing and assuring words, the Minister of Power said the Nigerian government is investing massively in the power sector because of its strategic role in economic development.
The power sector has particularly enjoyed various interventions that are geared towards increased availability, electricity stability, boosting liquidity and investor confidence.
The Group Managing Director of the NNPC told prospective investors that the good news for firms wishing to invest in Nigeria's oil and gas sector, the PIA just signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari, is their guarantee of a fair and transparent deal.
That law specifically provides for making sure that there's expansion in the industry, there's a much more friendly fiscal environment, there's much more stable regulatory environment, and beyond that also to make our fiscal tax very, very competitive and our power payers all over the world. And this will lead to one thing, to lead to expansion in our business. As we may all be aware, a number of talks are going on, COP26 and very many other related engagements that are going on, aim at reducing the carbon print of our businesses.
Explaining the leverages investors will benefit from private financial institutions, Adesola Adedutan, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of First Bank, said the Nigerian government has made a substantial commitment.
I speak about the regulations and policy reform of the government, which again is creating the enabling environment that allow businesses to thrive. The Finance Act of 2020 comes to mind, which essentially was focused on reforming the tax law and aligning the tax law in the country with global best practices, supporting SME and encouraging investment in infrastructure and capital markets. The new Company and Allied Matters Act also is part of the changes that have been seen in the environment that is also creating the right environment. It's also the national policy of the program. So the ICT sector is another major sector where significant growth has been recorded.
With an environment deliberately created to secure their investments and interests, institutions have also been strengthened. In Paris, France, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And the federal government has refuted allegations by US-based non-profit organization that the Nigerian government is a sponsor of terrorism, describing it as an orchestration by those seeking to distract and weaken the ongoing onslaught against terrorism and banditry in the country. We have details of federal government statement.
In a statement issued by the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, the so-called Global Advocates for Terrorism Eradication GATE should be ignored, adding, how can a serious organization accuse a government which is tackling the twin evil of terrorism and banditry with uncommon determination of sponsoring terrorism? The statement further adds it is curious about why the organization has chosen this particular time when terrorists are either surrendering in droves or running helter-skelter as a result of a renewed offensive against them by the military to orchestrate a distraction, and indicates GATE's motive is to weaken the fight against terror and banditry. The minister says the allegation is fake news and maintains that the federal government makes bold to say no administration in Nigeria has risen to the challenge of terrorism like the Buhari administration. The acquisition of myriad platforms, the boost to the morale of fighting forces and the leadership provided by President Muhammadu Buhari have combined to put the gallant troops to confront and put on the run terrorists, while Nigeria's efforts at tackling terrorism have been hailed globally. Therefore, what the armed forces need at this time is the support, encouragement and prayers of all, not the distraction of the organization masquerading as a terrorism eradication advocate. The statement adds, the federal government is therefore calling on Nigerians to disregard these allegations and continue to support the armed forces of Nigeria.
Najatu Tijani presenting federal government statement. The Nigerian security architecture will leverage on the defense attaché system to stem the emerging threats. Now, this is part of the resolution at the end of the 2021 Annual Defense Attachés Conference in Abuja, where issues of administrative bottleneck and poor funding were raised.
The conference equally enabled the review of the operational activities of the defense sessions as well as their administrative issues in the present year with a view to projecting for the year 2022.
The outcome of the conference has attested to the relevance of the defense advisors and attaché system in advancing national security and defense objectives.
Meanwhile, in view of the dynamism and complex nature of the current and emerging threats, the Defense Intelligence Agency is undertaking a self-appraisal platform for enhanced operations and intelligence gathering aimed at repositioning the intelligence-driven agency.
A self-examination mechanism in line with global best practices to ensure optimal performance evaluation has become necessary. This retreat will undoubtedly serve as an avenue to identify new lessons and challenges, discuss modalities of overcoming such challenges, and re-strategize for the future.
And lectures at the 2021 Median Retreat is focused on contemporary threat assessment and national development. The Nigerian Air Force, under Joint Operation Hadinkai, has neutralized ISWAP terrorists at Marte in Borno State. A statement by the NAF indicates that this was achieved on Friday, November 12, 2021. Following credible intelligence, local sources confirmed that several ISWAP fighters, foot soldiers, ISBA police and commanders of ISWAP faction were killed in the airstrike, including Special Militant Forces or Rujal and Commander Mohammed Barko and ISWAP Chief Imam Mohammed Malama, among others. Now, in the last 3 quarters of the year, winning the war against crime in the Gulf of Guinea reached new heights following tactical strategies deployed by the Nigerian Navy. Now, Flag Officer Commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Jason Bassa, while inaugurating the 4th Quarter Sea exercise, codenamed Ex Omimimo, assured of regular surveillance within its domain, Abolade Salame reports.
The Western Naval Command accounts for about 90% of shipping activities in Nigeria, thereby placing on its shoulders an enormous task to secure the territorial waters from all maritime thefts and piracy. The command in the course of the year had conducted a series of operations to establish credible presence at sea, to effectively deny criminals freedom of operation, to further cement gains recorded in the Gulf of Guinea as regard a well-secured domain. The command is inaugurating exercise Omimimo to assess operational status of ships.
The Nigerian Navy is recognized as a dominant force, indeed an hegemony within the West African sub-region and across the continent. Nigerian Navy is recognized for its capacity to be able to contain criminality within our waters.
The sea exercise will avail personnel opportunity to sharpen their anti-piracy skill as well as search and rescue operation.
In this anti-piracy operation exercise, we intend to train our men on how to search and locate vessels, how to share information between ships and helicopters in operation.
6 ships, 2 helicopters, and a detachment of Nigerian Navy Special Boat Service, alongside 2 deep project ships, will be deployed for the exercise. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
And in other news, a Thanksgiving service to mark the 2021 Interpol Week has held at the St. James Anglican Church at Sokoro in Abuja. Francis Fulm reports that the personnel of the Interpol unit were in the church to appreciate God for protection and commit their activities into the hands of God. The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, on behalf of the management and staff of the organization, felicitates with a media icon and former Director General, NTA, Mr. Shola Omole, on the occasion of his 70th birthday. The NTA joins numerous loved ones and admirers to celebrate the public relations and wish him a most glorious birthday. Malam Ibn Mohammed prays God Almighty to continue to guide and protect Mr. Mali and grant him longevity to continue to serve God and humanity in robust health. Now, it is true that execution of projects that are desired by the electorates close gaps between government and the people. Now, this resonated in Gombe Metropolis when Governor Muhammadu Inuwa on inspection and payment of compensation for township road projects was warmly welcomed by residents. Emmanuel Akila reports.
The residents of Londo Medorawa, Malay Inna, Kagara and Bolari came in numbers to appreciate Governor Inuwa Yahaya's administration for the township road projects promised and have been delivered to them. While other projects are ongoing, the governor is out to pay compensation to those whose properties are affected by the new projects that have been awarded, with the contractors due to mobilize to site in a fortnight.
We've embarked on this journey with their support. We pledge to provide infrastructure like roads, water, good schools, good and quality health care to our people. And you've seen it on their faces. Everybody is happy and we are equally happy. We are determined to deliver come rain, come sunshine.
The designs, specifications and cost of the project are explained by the Commissioners of Finance and that of Works.
Cumulatively, government is paying almost about 400 million to ensure that we provide corridor for the contractors to be able to perform their duties and ensure that these roads are completed within the shortest period of time.
The residents pledged their support for more dividends of democracy. All land belongs to the government. The compensation is for structures we put up. The People's Appreciation go with 2 feathers on the governor's cap as he bagged the traditional titles of Madawaki of Bolari and Sarkinyaki of Malang Inna in Gombe. Emmanuel Akira, NTA News.
And going by statistics from the International Diabetes Federation, about 537 million adults are now estimated to be living with the condition globally. Now, 6.7 million people are also said to have died from the disease, a higher percentage of this number from Africa, even after 100 years that insulin was discovered. Our correspondent Chimdema Ndubisi brings us details as the global community marks the 2021 World Diabetes Day.
50-year-old Peter Agada, an architect, has been living with type 2 diabetes for 22 years now, a health condition where the body loses the ability to utilize food intake, leading to elevated glucose in the blood. A worrisome trend, however, is that more children are coming down with diabetes, while about 60 to 70% of people walking the streets do not know they have the disease until complications set in.
Aging is a risk factor. The other risk factor is overweight and obesity. Like family history, diabetes can affect the eye and cause blindness. Blood gets to our brain. Diabetes can cause stroke. There are people who may actually show what we call the classical symptoms of diabetes: losing weight, drinking excessive water, going to the toilet, to pass urine more frequently.
Managing the medical condition gulps as high as 10 to 30,000 naira a month. That's why those who wear the shoes are calling for government to intervene in subsidizing cost of diabetic drugs. This is in line with the focus of this year's commemoration: access to diabetes care. If not now, when?
We encourage them to consume complex carbohydrates and not refined carbohydrates, and a lot of, vegetables.
The projection is that by year 2030, 643 million people in the world would be diabetic, and by 2045, the figure would rise to 784 million. In Abuja, Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has intercepted 16.85 kilograms of cocaine and heroin worth over 4.9 billion naira at the Apapa Seaport and Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. Now, 4 persons are currently being investigated for 13.65 kilograms of cocaine seized on board a ship MV Catera from Santos, Brazil on Sunday, November 7, 2021, while 5 persons have been arrested in Lagos and Delta states in connection with another 3.2 kilograms of heroin found on a passenger at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport. Meanwhile, more than 823.19 kilograms of other illicit substances have been intercepted in operations conducted across the country, leading to the arrest of 11 suspects. Let's take some sports stories now. First from Ekiti, where contingents from the state of the Federation have arrived for this year's edition of the National Festival for Arts and Culture, NAFest, holding in Ado-Ekiti. Ayodeji Okunshaki, who visited the festival camps, reports that the contingents are in high spirit for the week-long festival.
Visits to the festival camps at Ikere and Ado-Ekiti showed that the venues have come alive with the arrival of contingents from the various states of the Federation in readiness for the festival. Kitiparapo Pavilion, as well as the State Civic Center, shows the level of preparations for the festival.
Everything is ready. The states are here. Some of the states are still on the road. They will be here. We wish them safe trip. Ekiti is ready to host the world.
Ekiti, in consonance with what they claim, I think the state is very, very prepared.
The opening ceremony of the festival we hold on Monday at Ikiti-Parapo Pavilion, Ado-Ekiti, and Nigeria's cultural heritage will be reflected through various competitive and non-competitive events at the week-long festival. From Ado-Ekiti, Ayodeji Okunshaki, NTA News.
All right, that was cultural sports of some kind. So let's join our sports correspondent now, Omoyewe Onobon, for the real sports update.
The Super Eagles have arrived Lagos ahead of Tuesday's 2022 World Cup qualifying fixture against the Blue Sharks of Cape Verde. Nigeria remained top of Group C on 12 points, just 2 ahead of their next opponent, Cape Verde. The Eagles need just a point from Tuesday's game to guarantee their place in the final round of qualifiers and must avoid a repeat of what happened the last time they played at home in the same venue, the Teslim Balogun Stadium. Football fans have continued to praise the performance of the Super Eagles for the positive reaction they showed by defeating Liberia 2-0 at Tarjah, Morocco.
It's a good thing for us because we are still in with a big chance. Ordinarily, we should not expect anything other than a win and all 3 points.
The excitement of polo game has continued to give polo fans something special about the game. On day 5 and 6 of the tournament at Kefi Polo Ranch, 3 matches were played between Macomas and Standard. Macomas, the best performing team, emerged victorious after winning by 9-5.5, while the second match between Profile and Trapcom ended 7-7.5 in favor of Trapcom, and Ocean Marine defeated Captain by 8-5.
Everyone should come and watch. It's a really, really good game, and in Nigeria, the atmosphere is fantastic.
The Nigeria cricket team are battle ready to face Tanzania and Uganda at the opening games at Kahanga International Cricket Stadium in Kigali, Rwanda, ahead of World Cup qualifiers clash. The yellow-green Nigeria senior men's cricket team will on Wednesday begin a day 4-6 match session for the ticket to represent Africa at the 2022 T20 World Cup in Australia. With sports updates, Omoyemi Onobu.
And that ends the news from our Abuja studios. I am Claire Delabu Abdul Razak. Jennifer will return in just a moment after the commercials. But let me also remind you to join the NTA in our campaign against rape and rapists.
Welcome back. Naturally, relations, especially those coming from same parents, are supposed to look after one another in any given circumstances. Unfortunately, this is not so at Garkin Alkali in Yobe State, as residents woke up one faithful day to the sad news of 2 brothers who, for reasons best known to them, reportedly amputated each other's arms during a duel with cutlasses. Since the incident occurred a few days ago, police in Yobe State have intensified investigations to unravel the root cause of the bloody fight. Adam Yusuf Ali is on the trail of this development for Newsline.
Youth in Garin Alkali, Bursari local government area of Yobe State have over the years not in good books of Nigerian Police Yobe State Command due to flagrant disregard to laws, especially in disputes arising between them, not minding the consequences of their actions. One of such scenarios was on the 8th of November this year, when 2 brothers, aged 25 and 26, were alleged to have amputated each other's left arm during a fight that created panic among the peace-loving people in the area. While confirming the incidents, the Public Relations Officer, Yobe State Command, ASP Abdul Karim Dungus, says the victims are the Bukar Muhammad and Bukar Audu, who are in critical conditions, are receiving treatment at the Federal Medical Center, which is slowing the pace of their investigations.
We are still investigating the case and the relationship.
As part of investigations procedures into the matter, the amputated hands are kept at the hospital for onward presentation as evidence in the court of law. As of now, preliminary investigations reveal that the area is famous for agricultural activities, thereby attracting youth who partake in crop production and rearing of animals that usually do not end well despite efforts of security agencies to maintain law and order in the area. This is the more reason the police spokesman is appealing to the public to stop taking laws into their hands by reporting their grievances to the police for appropriate action.
Violence should never be an option. The police are just giving useful information. There is anxiety in the southeast over a new drug in town, said to be gradually destroying young people. It is called crystal meth and Mkpurumini in local palace. Considering the damage this drug has brought on the youth, Ntiche community in Oyi local government area of Anambra State is taking drastic measures as punishment for abusers. Let's hear from Udo Okoronkwo Chukwu what the punishment is.
Whichever way it is taken, crystal meth creates a false sense of happiness and well-being, causes strong feeling of confidence, hyperactivity and energy. Yet, it is a dangerous and potent chemical, and as with all drugs, a poison that first acts as a stimulant but then begins to systematically destroy the body, causing aggression, psychotic behavior and potential heart and brain damage. The recent discovery of the illicit drug use and business among youth in Nteje community is a challenge that members of the community have decided to solve in their own way.
It is everywhere. Women are taking it. Teenage women, they are taking it everywhere. From 15 years, even in primary school, a wrap of it is 1,000 naira. And instead of them, because they don't have money now, they steal in order to make it. So the youth went on rampage, say, it must put that into a stop.
Dr. Chukwuweta Honora is a consultant psychiatrist with the State Neuropsychiatric Hospital. He says crystal meth addiction is a menace that needs to be checked from the source, as the hospital records 10 to 15 cases every week.
This drug, how it works is that it stimulates a part of the brain to release dopamine and norepinephrine, or what they call noradrenaline, and serotonin. So it makes the people awake, alert, and improves their mood, gives them this high. Though I don't support the idea of flogging addicts, because that doesn't cure addiction. Okay, because when you flog someone, you put the person in pain, the next thing you go and look for a substance to deal with the pain.
The Assistant State Commander, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Dr. Chinwe Thompson, says the command has made several arrests and mounted sensitization campaign to communities, motor parks and schools in a bid to alert the people on the danger of the drug.
We've even destroyed the clandestine laboratory here in Anambra when we discovered that they were manufacturing it. NTA went for them, and later it was sanitized. We've arrested so many of them, we've taken so many of them to court, jailed so many of them. It's on record.
More responsibility is therefore expected from the government, family, and religious bodies.
Drug abuse is a destroyer and silent serial killer. Say no to drugs. Remember the story of the late 14-year-old student of Premier Academy Lugbe in Abuja, Karen Apaga. The matter is still hanging as the coalition of civil society organizations against gender-based violence has continued to champion the cause for redress in the horror that was allegedly perpetrated against her. Questions are still being asked about the expected roles of concerned authorities. This time, institutions of government are being called to speak on the matter to enable accountability and justice prevail. Our correspondent, Ilyasu Onotu Yakubu, who has been following the matter, brings us update.
When this young mother of six, Mrs. Ifebuche Chukwueze, came home to their one-room apartment at number 25 Taylor Avenue, Cold Camp, Enugu, to find her 7-year-old son, Chimdalo, missing, it was like a bad joke. Little did she know the horror that would unfold in the next couple of days.
Wednesday, 20th of October,
Since my son Chimdal got missing on Wednesday, 20th October, I have been in prayers even in the midnight that my son should come back alive. Not until last Saturday when I learned that my husband has confessed that he killed Chimdal.
So, I'm speechless.
The case of the missing boy was reported to the police by the father himself. While the search lasted, the neighborhood held meetings on how to unravel the mystery. Even the children declared a 21-day prayer session for their missing colleague, Chimdalo.
Some of people living here noticed when the man took his child, that man came back saying that he didn't see the boy. So we started investigating within ourselves, telling the man that we are going to take him to where he will swear. After so much pressure, he later confessed to us that he's the person that did it. He told us that there's one man asked him to bring his child for sacrifice. So he took the boy to that river. When the boy started calling him, Daddy, Daddy, what's the problem? He told the little boy that trying to baptize him. So after the second time, the third time, they now drowned the little boy. So after doing the sacrifice, they now used white clothes to tie the boy and buried him close to the river. We now call police to come and arrest him.
According to a release by the State Police Command, the 36-year-old Chidi Onyishi, who hails from Nsukka in Enugu State, led the police to arrest his alleged accomplice, a 95-year-old blind man, Pastor Okeke Enokwo. He also led the security operatives to a stream in Abakbanike, Enugu, where the decomposing body of the minor was exhumed from a shallow grave. While the culprits are cooling off in police custody, the Enugu state government has visited the distraught mother of the dead child, presenting her with an upkeep sum of 500,000 naira in the interim, promising to ensure that justice is delivered.
Everything that needs to be done will be done by Enugu state government to ensure that we find justice. And the governor personally has sent us to come and reassure you that you will not stand alone.
Meanwhile, the exhumed remains of the minor has since been buried.
We apologize for the mix-up there. That was a story of a man who killed his son and buried him in Enugu, and alleged case of ritual killing. Now we go back to the story of late Karen, the 14-year-old student of Premier Academy, whose case we've been following.
4 months have passed since young and promising Karen Hapochapaga gave up the ghost tragically in a yet to be ascertained circumstances which culminated into her death. Karen's demise immediately generated heated debate between her parents, the civil society organization on one side, and the school where she was alleged to have been raped and infected as a result on the other hand. Whilst this lasted, the FCT Police Command waded in with investigations to unravel the mystery, an effort which the first party deemed unsatisfactory and requested the Police High Command through petitions to transfer the case to the First Gender Office. The latest twist to the debacle, according to late Karen's mother and the CSOs, spark from the silence and inactions of Ministry of Education and that of Women Affairs, which have statute duties over safety of children and educational institutions, describing such as emboldened perpetrators of sexual and gender-based violence.
That was 1st of November. I was called to the first gender unit where I wrote a petition again against, where I wrote my statement stating all that happened during, before and after, that led to my daughter's death, and also what has happened since then. So the first gender unit is now acting on the case and investigations have started. So far, that's the position of the Karen Hapu case.
4 months after we have submitted another letter to the Ministries of Women Affairs and Education to say we are not happy with the way they are handling it, if they are handling it, or to update us on where they are. And we're giving them an ultimatum. We're going to show you copies and evidences of this email, or this letter that has been taken to the ministries. If we do not hear from them, we would be doing a nationwide protest. We don't want this case to die. There are many Karens out there, and we know that it is not the end, but we are hoping that Karen's death will not be in vain.
The Federal Ministry of Education, through its Director Press, Ben Bemgong, speaking off camera, says private schools are not under the purview of the ministry, but rather under the supervision of states, and in this case, the FCT Education Secretariat. However, the Ministry of Women Affairs says it has keenly and discreetly worked with the FCT administration and the police on investigation to ensure that justice prevails in the matter.
There are other things that people need to understand about public office. We don't work in cross purposes with one another. We don't antagonize one another, but we work in collaboration with one another. Immediately the news broke out, the minister took a positive step and realized that police have stepped in, FCT administration have stepped in. All that she did was to ensure that justice was done because those agencies are involved, and she personally contacted those who are in charge of those agencies and the ministry and ensure that they do not only take the matter seriously but let it reach the desired conclusion.
While humanity anxiously awaits the outcome of investigations to unearth the circumstances which led to the death of the 14-year-old Karen Hapuch, Newsline promises to keep you, the viewer, updated until the truth is revealed.
We are not giving up. We will be on the case until justice is served. Now, couples would generally expect to live a lifetime of peace and family harmony. Husband and wife do not wish for physical harm or violence as their lot. Some marriages, however, are hurt by frequent quarrels, occasional violence, and sometimes homicide. Such is the case of a middle-aged man in Benin who allegedly killed his wife over an unpaid debt. Ifeoma Okafor is following the development.
The 53-year-old technician has been living with his wife for 26 years now. Here in Ahamu Street, Ewotubo, there was no inclination that someday a gruesome quarrel will erupt and the husband will have the blood of wife on his hands. Trouble started when the husband, Mr. Mundi, borrowed the sum of 150,000 naira from his wife for housekeep. When it was time to pay back, the man rather paid 75,000 naira instead of the whole amount of 150,000 naira. Quarrel started when the wife demanded for the balance of 85,000 naira and the husband could not provide. The suspect, who is now in police net, narrates his ordeal.
She now said she needs the balance now. I told her to wait till October ending, which is October that just ended now. She said no. So later she came back again, and I went to the back of my house to avoid her. So she came and held onto my shirt and started dragging me. So, and I said she should leave me. She said no, then, and I just pushed her so that I can go away. So my sock away now, the water she used in washing a plate and the rest of that, did not slip her leg. She now used her head to hit the edge of the sock away of the beam. So I'm not happy about it. I don't really know what led to it, because before the incident, I told her that she should stop and take things easy. I've been together for the past 26 years as husband and wife.
The police say investigation is on.
He narrated and accepted to fighting the woman, and then led, which he pushed her and led to her that he has made that confession to the Nigerian police. But still the police is carrying out its investigation because this is an offense against the state. And I believe he will be charged at the end of the investigation. He will be charged to court appropriately.
It is expected that the law will take its course ultimately.
Anger management is very important. There's a thin line between life and death. Anything can happen during a fight. Anything. We'll take a break now. Newsline continues shortly. Welcome back. Now to our social diary. I will start with a wedding ceremony with the unique ambience of the NTA family and scores of well-wishers who joined the Executive Director News, Muhammad Labo, in celebration of his daughter's marriage. Rukayat Abdullahi Labo got married to Abdul Majid Mustafa Abdullah. Achari Maxwell reports that the elaborate ceremony took place at Arewa House, Kaduna.
The sweet love story started 3 years ago, and with the dowry payment and other marriage rights, it has taken a lifetime commitment.
Okay, I was at the airport sitting, waiting for my flight. Then he came and approached me. He asked for my name and I told him. Then from there we started talking. He's a calm person, very caring, and he's an intelligent person.
Rukaya is an exceptional person. She's amazing. She's a very smart and intelligent woman, goal-driven. And yeah, of course, any man who has such a lady is definitely lucky to have such.
He's a family man. He helps people. At any time he gets opportunity to help someone, he will do that effortlessly.
This reception put together to unveil the bride, traditionally known as Budankai. Rukayat, a barrister, joined in the event by her hubby, Abdul Majid, and his guest from far away India via Zoom.
Amiria, she's just doing some Zoom with the latest couple, the angle. But they see me from India like this as I talk to them.
As Barrister Rukayat and Engineer Abdul Majid begin their matrimonial journey of a lifetime, friends and family wish them well.
So she has to be very, very patient and very understanding. And she also has to be very respectful. And she's also make sure that they always resolve their differences amicably without informing any outside party.
I wish Rukayat and Abdul Majid happy married life full of God's blessings.
And she have to understand and help her husband what he wants. And the husband have to be patient with her because you know the husband is the senior.
I pray Almighty Allah grant them heaven and a very long married life till death do them apart.
NTA family is fully in support of the engagement.
There is nothing as bad as lack of communication in any relationship or in any union. If something happens, talk about it. Do not hold information and do not say you are angry so you will not talk to the person. If you do not talk to each other and communicate, you will never understand each other because you cannot read each other's mind.
They have to understand each other very well and should not report their issues to any outsider.
We wish the young couple the very best. Congratulations. To another wedding, Kaduna literally stood still as it played host to cream of personalities from far and near who trooped to the city to witness the wedding ceremony of the daughter of the deputy governor of the state, Nasiru Yusuf Gawuna. Awal Salisu witnessed the memorable wedding and now reports.
The wedding solemnization, which took place at the Al Furqan Jumaat Mosque Kano, was witnessed by the serving and former governors, deputy governors, senators, members of the House of Representatives, traditional rulers, top political office holders, and members of business community, among others. The marriage contract was sealed after the payment of 300,000 naira as dowry by the groom's representative.
اللهم صل على محمد النبي وأزواجه أمهات المؤمنين وذريته وأهل بيته كما صليت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد.
The wedding ceremony witnessed display of cultural heritage. The ceremony was earlier kicked off with Kamun Amaria, which also brought together families of the bride and groom. That, of course, was not the end of the celebration, as dinner followed and in grand style. Ahmad Abdulwan Muhammad and Fatima Nasir Yusuf Gawuna are happy not only for the historic day, but also the crowd that gathered in their honors.
I feel excited, happy. I'm glad that everybody took their time to come over. Just hoping and praying for peace and safe trip for everyone that came back home.
The new couple have no doubt steps into marriage fully equipped with words of advice from the elders who have been there.
We pray to Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to guide them.
And I pray that God will give them the patience, the tolerance to be with one another as husband and wife for the rest of their lives.
I want her to copy from the training she has received from her mother. That's my wife.
Our advice is for them to continue to mutually respect each other.
It's patient, patient, patient. Marriage is all about patience.
Forgiveness, tolerance, support for each other, putting each other in prayer, and they'll be faithful to each other.
We are giving them sufficient training that they can be able to take care of themselves and take care of their husbands.
The guests were treated to dishes amid entertainment by different cultural groups.
That was the wedding ceremony of the daughter of the Deputy Governor of Kano State, and we wish them bliss and blessings. Still on marriage, the dream of joining in marriage Aisha to daughter of former Director General, National Orientation Agency, Idi Farouk, and Al-Hamza Ukorodudu has been achieved last Friday at Sultan Bello Mosque, Kaduna. Performing the marriage rites, Imam Suleiman Mohammed admonished the new couple to exemplify good conduct to enjoy blissful life. Haruna Mohammed tells us more.
Reading from the Holy Quran, followed by payment of 50,000 naira dowry to the family of the bride and signing of certificates. Imam Suleiman Mohammed, having approved the marriage between Aisha to Farouk and Al-Hamza Okorodudu, says they must live according to guidelines of Islam.
Now it's not boyfriend and girlfriend again, it's a wife. So he has to follow all the tenets of Islam.
May them be blessed with kids and Duriya Daiva. Marriage is a contract, and having accepted to be together, they should be seen to be together.
A grand reception put together in honor of the couple.
Celebrate excellence. Oh my God, this is beautiful.
Wife of late head of state, Ajoke Mohammed, led cutting of the cake and toast to beginning of a new journey by Aisha to
Celebrating the beginning of a journey of forever that they're gonna journey together.
The husband should take the wife as a sister, friend, lover, and all. And whatever difference they have should be resolved in their bedroom, not bringing a third party.
They should learn to confide in each other and not rush into going to complain to their parents.
We pray, of course, that they will be blessed with children.
There was enough to joy and happiness of guests.
She is as beautiful on the inside as she is on the outside. She has a fantastic heart. She cares for people. Above all, she's God-fearing.
They must also always learn to pray to God and give the foundation of their life to God for direction.
We also pray and wish both families a very, very long life and prosperity.
They should keep themselves as one. If anything goes dark, they should sit down together and sort it out and make it play. Introduce a third party, always destroy marriage.
Congratulations to the new couple. From weddings, we go to what Mamadou is doing. Now, all the medalists from the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympic Games have been honored and rewarded by Mamadou, a brand of PZ Wilmar. Mamadou decided to celebrate the Nigerian spirit displayed by the athletes. Samuel Johnson reports that cash gifts were also given to them.
She have. Yes, they are again. Well, she goes up into the gold medal position.
For defeating their odds and limitations through brilliant performance at the Tokyo Paralympic Games, PZ Wilmar decided to celebrate the Nigerian spirit of doggedness and dedication which the athletes displayed at the Games. Managing Director of PZ Wilmar expressed satisfaction with the sports talents, who he said Mamadou recognizes their efforts.
We have a huge plantation where we are actually growing palm oils domestically. On the other side, we also keep thinking about how do you promote Nigerian talents. Who are the real heroes who actually resonate with the culture of our company and whose also their character signifies with our brand is actually the unsung heroes. So that's why we decided that we will bring in the medal winners of Olympics and Paralympic Games.
We are here to say whatever it is that you want to do, whatever sector of life that it is that you want to go play in and win, go do it. Push limits within that sector and go for the wins.
Some of the athletes say the honor done to them will inspire greater performance in future sporting events.
Thank God that I'm receiving this honor today, because in my home, I made Mamadou my brand. It's my brand. And I made myself an ambassador of Mamadou. Everything in my home is all about Mamadou.
It's not just about going to win the medal. Yes, you go to win medal, but you need one coming home who will show you love. And this Mamadou, they are the only company that has come out to show us love.
I'm so happy for the Mamadou that encouraged us with this award.
For the Paralympic Committee, the celebration of the medalists by Mamadou is an impetus for more achievements.
We love it. It's nice. This will encourage other companies to associate themselves with the para athletes.
Mamadou, a brand of PZ Wilmar, produces household items including Mamadou oil, bread spread, and seasoning, among others.
Thank you, Mamadou. Let's pay some bills. Newsline will continue shortly. Welcome back. The saying, give honor to whom honor is due, best describes the prestigious Zik Prize in Leadership Awards 2020 edition. Initiated by the Public Policy Research and Analysis Center, the event recognized 10 distinguished Nigerians who have demonstrated exceptional qualities in leadership in their various fields of endeavor. Amaka Owo witnessed the glitz and glamour of the event and now reports.
The 2020 Zik Prize in Leadership Awards was established to highlight the legacies of the foremost nationalist and great Zik of Africa, late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. Members of the advisory board of the Public Policy Research and Analysis Center went down memory lane to explain the emergence of this noble platform for recognizing prominent Nigerians.
And we proceeded to seek Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe's
the mission to get this going. The Zik Prize has evolved to become one of Africa's most respected award schemes for leadership and professional excellence.
The royal father of the day, Serikin Kano Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, and other traditional rulers present expressed their belief in the strength of having a greater nation.
We must set up a task team that will prepare a blueprint for African professionals in the diaspora to return home and help build Mother Africa.
Then came the cherished moments as the Group Managing Director, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Director General, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, and former Senate President received the 2020 Zik Prize in Leadership Awards for Public Service.
What it means to me is that this is more challenge because people watch what you do, people expect you to do well. And it's not magic, it's about commitment, it's about getting people to do the right thing.
Nigeria will have a lot of potentials.
So that was part of the reason
as you can see and you hear,
performance in 2020.
In terms of leadership, we are not lacking the leadership per se, but our ability to harness and explore what we have in our leaders.
I feel that my services in the past has been very adequately recognized.
Zik Prize in Professional Leadership was given to the Group Managing Director, ABN Holdings, and Managing Director of the Nigerian Sovereignty Investment Authority.
We believe that there's so much more to be achieved. This is not the ultimate prize. We'll continue to excel and be diligent in what we do.
Society, your company, your corporation, your community will always recognize that person who works very hard.
Other categories of the awards include the Zik Prize in Leadership for Good Governance received by Lagos and Nasarawa State's governors.
For consistent 26 years, they have continued to keep faith with what they truly believed in. I want to thank you again for doing this for our country.
This will ginger us to do more. For me, it has always been my principle. Anytime that I'm praised, anytime that I'm given an opportunity, I'm commended, anytime I feel like doing more.
Other recipients of the prestigious awards include Minister of State for Health, Senator Olorunimbe Mamora, President African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, and former First Lady of Akwa Ibom State, Ekaite Godswill Akpabio. Since 1995, the Zik Prize in Leadership has been at the forefront of ensuring accountable leadership in Nigeria and across Africa.
I hope more Nigerians get inspired. Let's go for our last commercial break. Glad to have you back. The remains of late Right Reverend Tanimu Samari Aduda have been laid to rest at the family compound in Karu, Abuja, after the performance of all Christian burial rites. Haman Jabani reports that the burial rite was a celebration of life.
The service of song sets the tune for the homeward journey of late Right Reverend Tanimu Samari Aduda, who died on the 20th of October 2021 at 76. The scriptures were read by his children Philip, Gabriel and Grace, while testimonies were unending from Vice President, President of the Senate, Speaker, House of Representatives, President and former members of the National Assembly, friends, professional colleagues and top government officials. The sermon was brief but simple and clear.
The only thing that will be remembered for was what was done for the Lord. So let's stop all this craze for, material things on earth here.
At the funeral service, officiated by the Dean, Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, Most Reverend Buba Ali Lamido, there were admonition to Nigerians to live righteous life.
Whatever you will do it for the sake of God. Do it for the sake of God.
Interment took place at the family compound at Karo FCT.
first start by thanking the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for his kind words and his messages, and thank God for his mercies, and thank him for this day that we have seen and that we have successfully buried our father.
He can sacrifice for his children and for every other person.
I think Baba lived a very good life. He will forever be a legend. He has raised children that are walking in his footsteps. And as you can see, even at 76, the Lord had blessed him with great-grandchildren.
There is no way you would sit with Baba that you will not learn one or two from.
Some sympathizers spoke to Newsline.
He has played his part in developing peace and unity across the virus divide of this country.
The sterling qualities that we saw in his son, we believe were qualities that inherited from this celebrated man of God.
We feel their pains, especially knowing the role Baba had played, not only as a Reverend Father who brought up so many people, as a community leader.
We want them to continue in the pathway laid down for them by their father.
My heart also goes out to all the members of his family for this loss that is difficult to recall.
Your father had transferred the battle of leadership to you.
Late Right Reverend Tanimu Samari Aduda was born on the 14th of May 1945 in the present-day Karo FCT.
May so rest in peace. That's our package on Newsline today. Join us again next week. Good night and God bless Nigeria.